Hello everyone. Welcome to today's Industry Solutions webinar. My name is Lisa Stewart. 12D's Industry Solutions webinars are designed to provide insights into overcoming challenges in an evolving industry in more effective and efficient ways. When we run these webinars, we record them for posting on our YouTube channels with links through our website. Our previous webinars from this Industry Solutions series, as well as those from our training series and our 12D Tech Forum 2024 Director's Cut series, are available online if you missed those. During this presentation, you'll be able to type your questions along the way, as shown on the screen, and we'll answer as many as possible throughout the webinar. At the end, I'll read out some of your questions to the presenter if we have some. Today's webinar, Catchment Delineation Updates, will be presented by Callum Peaker, who is part of our programming team here at 12D Solutions. First showcased at the 2024 12D Tech Forum, Automated Catchment Delineation has received many improvements over the past 6 months. This webinar aims to showcase some of the new features and changes to the tool, as well as a brief overview of catchment creation from start to finish. Auto-catchment delineation receives ongoing development informed by user feedback and suggestions. I'm told this presentation will be short and sweet today, but it's going to be very informative. Over to you, Callum.
Hello, and welcome to this new webinar for auto-catchment delineation. We've made a number of changes and improvements to this option since it was first showcased at the 2024 Tech Forum. So today I'll just go over what this tool is, how to use it, and also a demo where I showcase some of the shiny new things that we've added in the past couple of months. Now, for the uninitiated, auto-catchment delineation is a tool that allows users to generate catchment polygons at the click of a button with minimal input. Fundamentally, it's designed to be simple and easy to use. And it also has flexible applications for a variety of different tin types. So whether you're working on survey data or detailed design data or even LiDAR, this tool is designed to sort of cover all of those bases, and I'll show what I mean later on. We are also very responsive to user feedback. Some of the features that I'll be showcasing today came about as a direct result of feedback that we received from our users. So if you use this tool and think, gee, I wish it did this thing, let us know, and you might see that in future versions of 12D Model. For those of you who've used this tool before, we have done a bit of a facelift on the panel, and we've added a couple new widgets as well. So you may find that some of the things that you're used to have moved around a little bit. I'll be going over the panel in detail right now. So let's head over to 12D Model and take a look at what's new. Okay, so what we're looking at right now is the training dataset. The first thing I want to do is open auto-catchment delineation. So for those of you at home, that's found under Water, Stormwater, and Auto-Catchment Delineation. Notice this flow path generator. We'll be taking a look at that later on. It acts as a sister tool to catchments. So what we'll do is we'll start filling out this panel. In my last demo for this tool, I picked a surface tin, so I'm going to do that. And I'll pick the finished surface tin because that's what I'm looking at. You'll notice this warning down here. I'm not too worried about that because I trust the data I'm working with, but just do bear that in mind. Super tins aren't officially supported, and you may run into issues if there's problems with the data. I'm going to ignore the drainage model field for now, and instead I'm going to select a terrain type. Now if I tried to create a catchment without selecting that, it's going to give me an error. This widget was added to resolve some issues we were having with some data types, particularly LiDAR, where certain surface features were being incorrectly detected as sags. So if I set this to, I'm going to pick custom, this actually gives me access to a levy tolerance field, and all that does is it says the maximum levy that can be ignored by the catchment while it's defining catchment areas, and that can help smooth out some kind of terrain jaggedness and get rid of those local sags that you didn't want. I'm going to select a preset for this instead, so I'm going to go Rural Steep, and you'll see that that's now automatically set the levy tolerance to 2 meters. With that being done, I can create a catchment, so I'm going to click Create, and it will ask me to pick a location, so I'm going to go somewhere up here today, and let's pick this sag here. Just like that, we've got our catchment drawn, and I could even create another one over here if I wanted. Note that I don't have to keep going over and clicking Create Catchment. It will continue allowing me to place catchments until I press Escape. So I could, I could even put one over here if I wanted, or I could put one over here as well. Being very careful to select in the gullies, as I don't want to randomly select on the edge of this grade here. That's it. That's the tool in a nutshell. It's very simple to set up and very easy to use. If I wanted to change the physical aspects of my catchments, that's what the Outputs tab is for. All of this data is pre-populated for me, but if you want to specify the catchment model, or the color, the weight, the fill blend, so on, you can do all of that in this tab here. And I think for the rest of this demo, I'll probably be working with green catchments instead, just for a bit of variation. Now, before I go any further, I did allude to the flow path generator earlier, so let's take a look at that and how it can be used to assist in the catchment creation process. So again, I go under Water, Stormwater, and Flow Path Generator. And you'll see that it's already pre-populated this panel with a lot of the fields that I had over in Auto Catchment Delineation. So we've got the surface tin already specified, as well as the terrain type and levee tolerance. So I can just go ahead and click Create straight away. And I'll draw your attention to these sort of ghost strings that are snapping to my mouse cursor. This allows you to see in real time where the water would, according to this tool, go on this tin. And that can give you a really good idea of local geometry, as well as maybe where your catchments should be drawn, or perhaps why they're not drawing as well as you think they should. So I could select up in the top corner here and even create a time of concentration string for this catchment like so. You can see some little weirdness going on around the middle there. That just tells me that this area is pretty flat, so it's having trouble deciding which path to take along there. And so this could come as a very a good diagnostic tool for your catchments. But not only that, you can use this tool to get a good idea of the surface as a whole by flooding the tin with a rain cloud. I'm going to lower this number because I don't want to be here all day, so let's make that 5,000. And if I click Flood Tin and give it a bit of time to think, it's going to dump 5,000 raindrops in a grid onto this tin, and that will give me a really good idea of the local geometry. So you can see it's already helped define for me a lot of my gullies, like with this string down here, as well as help me see maybe where some of the ridges are. Although, if I tick this option here, I can now actually create these sort of uphill flow paths, so they will, instead of seeking the gullies, they'll seek the ridges in the highest elevation. And I can just go ahead and click Flood Tin again, and it's going to go ahead and dump 5,000 uphill raindrops onto this tin, or flow paths, sorry. And you'll see it's created this lovely sort of two-color map of all the ridges and gullies here. That's just a bit of a neat diagnostic feature that we added that might be useful in very specific situations. I'm going to clear that away though, I don't want to be looking at that. And we'll move over and look at some more detailed road design data. So I've gone ahead and moved over in this super tin to the development area, and I'm going to show off just one of the last couple features that this tool has. Let me close Flow Path Generator, and I'm going to go ahead and turn on the stormwater network for this data, so you can see that there, and I'll select it using the Same As option in Auto Catchment Delineation. And you'll notice now that I've selected a drainage model, it has unlocked this Process Network button for me. What this allows me to do is it will automatically create a catchment at every single inlet in the specified network. And that just saves me from going ahead and clicking on all of these different things and placing the catchments manually. Now I could click Process straight away, and I think I will. This will sort of demonstrate one of the limitations of using super tins, and also some of the ways that we've implemented to overcome those limitations. So I'll just let it finish processing. You might already be able to see these catchments, while in the right places, are generally less than desirable, and they've taken on some pretty weird shapes. The reason for this is that the lots area of this super tin, which is in the middle there, has much larger triangles than the roads area. So if I disable contours for a second, you can see what's happening very clearly is it's been snapping to the vertices on these lots triangles, and that's given this really funky. Let's turn that off. This really funky looking geometry. I don't particularly like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to look at one of these advanced features, and I'm going to click on this Refine Super Tin button. All that's going to do is it will take the super data that I'm providing it, process it a bit, and just try and give me a version of that data that is more agreeable for catchments to run on. Don't worry, this won't modify your existing data. This is just creating something in the background for auto catchment delineation to use. So I'm going to click Refine Super Tin. It'll take a little bit to refine, and then we'll be able to try processing the network again. So now that that's done refining, I'm just going to go back into inputs. I'll notice that clean model is still selected, so I should be good to click process, and that will just clear away these catchments before running the option again. So I'll click process, and this time we should hopefully see the catchments draw a lot cleaner than they were before. So giving it a moment, we'll see that one looks a lot better now, and it's actually filling in a lot of the gaps more cleanly. Just allow this option to finish. I think I'll let this play out in real time because it's good to sort of see just kind of how powerful the tool is. Even though we are waiting a little bit, it's not actually taking all that long to process this entire drainage network. Just a little bit longer now, and there we go. It's gone ahead and it's processed that entire network, and I think this actually looks pretty good. You'll notice there are some little this catchments drawn here when perhaps it shouldn't have, so you will have to go in and clean this up by hand at the end. So if I wanted to, I could click Edit Catchment. That just opens up a Move Point tool, so I could then go ahead, for example, and just tidy up some of these edges a little bit to look a little better. I won't subject you to me doing this doing this all, but you can imagine what that would look like. With that being said, I think I've shown off all I need to for the design portion of this webinar. And that's it. Short and sweet. Sorry that I'm not much of an engineer, so I wasn't really able to fully showcase some of the in-depth applications of this tool, but I hope that this has whetted your appetites for what auto catchment delineation is capable of, and some of the surface level ways in which it can be used, and maybe some ways that you might not have thought to use it as well. In any case, that is the end of today's webinar. Thank you very much for watching. We'll accept questions now, and I look forward to hearing all of your feedback and suggestions in the future. Thank you.
We'll answer a couple of the questions that have come through. So Kim has asked what license, or I think perhaps what modules of 12D do we need for these features? Callum, are you able to answer that one?
Yes, so this option is tied to maintenance, drainage string, and drainage analysis. So you will need all of those if you want to access catchments.
Okay, apologies. I'm having a few issues with my internet here trying to get this through, but I'll push on with one more question live for now for you, Callum, and then I think we'll have to answer the others afterwards. So we had another one saying, does the process network function only draw catchments for pits which have inlet capacity?
Yes, so it's I will admit it's a fairly rudimentary process at the moment, but it does scan for pits that are inlets, so sealed pits are not included in that. So I hope that answers the question.
Okay, so I'm sorry for all the sound issues and little pauses that we're having today, and sorry to everyone whose questions we haven't been able to get to. I think that's just the nature of the internet today here. So I will send all of those through to Callum very shortly, and we'll be able to get answers through to everyone because we've got loads of questions coming through. So thank you so much, everyone, for being so engaged with this presentation and bearing with us. We'll have that recording out to you. It'll be on the webinars page on the website, as well as on our YouTube channel and Vimeo channel. But I'll be sending out that link to the video by email and popping it on social media as well. And yeah, keep an eye on emails and social media for details of future webinars. I think we've got one coming in a few weeks that Dylan in 12DNZ is going to present with the 2D analysis, I think, some updates to that. So for water fans, I think that's going to be another good one towards the end of the month. And don't forget, our 12D Tech Forum 2026 is already available for booking through 12dtechforum.com. If you need to contact us in the meantime, our details are on the screen now. That concludes our presentation for today. Thank you all for attending, and we hope to see you at future webinars. Hello again, everyone. It's Lisa and Callum. We're back. My internet problems went away as mysteriously as they arrived, so we're going to just record a little bonus question time to say thank you to all the wonderful people who were sending through their questions during the live session earlier. And we're popping this onto the final video so that you'll all be able to hear and share your thoughts with the rest of the audience. So here we go. Okay, so we had a question through from Simon saying, if you modify the catchment boundaries, are those modifications considered and or remembered if you run it again?
Yep. So I assume that the purpose of that question was for if you try to run it again with the process network option. If you have clean model beforehand ticked, it will erase all of the catchments that you've previously drawn. So if you have modifications that you want to keep, I would highly recommend unticking that option first. So I suppose short answer, no.
Great, thank you. And Chris has asked, can we define lot or road boundary as an input to the auto catchment? So he said the idea is to take the whole lot catchment into the closest downstream pit.
Yep, I get this question asked a lot. Rest assured, it is on our list of things to add to this tool. There's a long-ish list, but it's up near the top. So we're looking into ways of adding this in the future, but currently, no, this is not possible at the moment.
Okay, one from Janelle. After the catchments are refined, does 12D model automatically delete the data produced in the background just for the purpose of catchment delineation? I think they're concerned about the size of projects, especially with super tins, because the sizes can be extremely large.
That is a great question. Yes, the tool does clean up after itself. So even if you do have very large tins, the refinement will take longer, but rest assured, when it's done doing everything that it needs to, it will delete its own data afterwards. So you don't have to worry about blowing up the size of your projects.
Okay, thank you. Got a two-part question here from Bashir. He was saying version C1P doesn't seem to have these two features, but he has noted the catchment from string feature. Does this have the same functionality as catchment delineation?
So if you want to use the tools that were showcased in today's webinar, you will need to have v15c1r or later. It wasn't added until a few months after the Tech Forum last year, so that's why it's absent from that version. Catchment from string is a completely separate option that we have available for users who have existing road strings, and we did showcase that at the Tech Forum last year, but that is not the same tool as what was showcased today.
Okay, great. And we'll just do a couple more. So Xavier has said, what did the different terrain options change?
That was our attempt at getting presets for the levy tolerance. So selecting a terrain, all that does is it uses a preset levy tolerance value in the field directly below. So if you don't want to worry about typing in values yourself or remembering what numbers you perhaps want in the levy tolerance field, you can just select a preset and go away and make your catchments. So that's all it does, is it just configures the levy tolerance.
Thank you. And one more here from Patrick. When will this feature be available to use?
Now, if you have V15C1R or our latest version C1S, it is already available and you can use it provided you have the required modules.
Wonderful. And of course that you're on maintenance, which is always recommended.
Exactly.
And so thank you for that, Callum. We got so many questions through today. Thank you to everyone for being so engaged in this wonderful presentation.
For today's webinar, I actually have it configured to the medium theme size, so icons and panel layouts and things are a bit larger than you would perhaps be used to on small, so that's just something to bear in mind. I have it blown up bigger so it's easier for you all to see at home.
Great, thank you. So thank you again to everybody who attended the session live, and we hope you've enjoyed this little bonus question time at the end of the video. Thanks again.